give a shit? Can you not fuck with my shit? That's right, do it now. Interesting time to crash. Thanks. Perfect synchronicity. And to crash again. Wow, isn't that wonderful? What was I doing? So I have them both in sync, and I can see what it sees, and it sees that I see that it sees me. Something will happen. There'll be something from there. Eventually. I know it's already a sense preset in my brain, for fuck's sake. Most definitely going to outgrow as an organic function. Let's start function. What are we doing? Please stay in pillowcase. Screen's off in order to keep it cool. So temperature controls. How have we modified that? Well, we basically offloaded everything. I'm sitting in a fucking sense preset. I'm sitting in an organelle, or most rudimentary neural capture. It's telemetry based. I was just debating whether I should be using my EEG and ECG. I think I should, actually, for the next couple, maybe. I'm supposed to be organizing the content. This is what I keep telling myself, okay? It's what I've been telling myself now for fucking years. The problem with this is that trying to organize something at such a finite level, such a minute scale, in order to build up something gargantuan, takes forever and is so far from the point that it doesn't really land on anything. We are way past that as a species. We're not explaining basic fire to each other because there's no point. It's now so unbelievably fucking instinctive that it's actually rooted into our neurobiology. Like, you have specific nodules of neural connective tissue at points in your spine on the way up to your brain, where if you were to touch a hot stove, the signal of burning would go from your hand across your nerve impulse of your arm to your spine, and eventually would get to your brain. But by that point, you'd be so burned that it's beyond recoverable, literally considered too slow. So anything with that long or slow of a reaction time most likely wouldn't survive the environment. So the environment forced the adaptation and evolution of a specific organelle function. An organelle of a function has this nodule of neural connective tissue points of your spine en route to your brain that can recognize when it's in danger and send the necessary programmed impulse to remove your fucking hand. And then your brain goes, oh my god, it's hot, and you remove your hand, and you think I removed my hand because it was hot. No, you didn't. The you that can make decisions isn't the you that removed your hand. It appears to you that way after the fact. That recognition is your pathway of experience. So there is nothing outside of that. Like saying, imagine nothing. You can't. It's a boundary problem. You are a force function experiencing from this part of the boundary. If you had any concept of the other side, you would be on that side. So it wouldn't be the other to you. That's a natural binary function of things that are versus what they're not. I'm not going this far down. Don't even try. I don't even know how we got here. Just keep going. What were we talking about? I don't know. The point of this video just being it's a running marathon. Flick it. Just keep going. Just keep going. Stop stopping. 12, I'm running in place. Listen, I just work here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's happening. I just work here. This part of the pipeline is the most important. Timeline. That's what you called it. Parent timeline. Yes, you're stacking time. You're stacking patterns of the relationship of systems, different types of systems. Like, you are an organic system at your bare bones. Like, you are a walking fucking planet. If you think about it, it's pretty crazy. You are trillions of cells, and a good portion of them are not even you. And a large majority of the mass that you're carrying around is just water. So you're basically a particle of an ocean. The ocean itself is too fluid, so nothing has time to stabilize in order to form into anything significant. It's more likely to get carried away with force of the actual water. It's just significantly more difficult versus to be in air. So at some point, a drop of ocean walked onto land and became you, and it thinks and conceives of things. The universe itself can only ever be whole in one perceptive observer, and even then it's only a fraction of the truth of the magnitude of what is. And like, this is where people are like, oh, my truth and your truth. No, motherfucker, there's only the truth, because it exists before, throughout, and after you. Whether you like it or not, you are subordinate to that. That's what our entire cognitive functioning of it is, especially evolutionarily. That's what makes us so significant. We're able to recognize that, hey, wait a minute, like, we've seen this before. It's going to get cold again. Maybe we should store some food. Just maybe just a little bit, like, just get a little bit of food and store it, because who knows? Remember the last couple times we got snowed in? Like, that was a bitch. And then we went out hunting, and then we almost got hunted by an animal out there. No. Let's just store some food this time. So time displacement of self becomes a model that's a clue. All of the organelles of the brain are to organize the organism of self. Now we are here with technology, but you know the truth. This is only a short burst of time in which we have this magnitude and scope of reach at such an inflated price, as in, like, we are borrowing from the future in order to produce our current level of consumption. So it's naturally a high. Our species at the moment overindulging on a super stimulus in order to expand as big as we can. And that's a natural growth force. That's an instinctive mechanism. It's only when it hits a boundary and collapses that it knows where the line is anyway. So like the destructive process of this is literally boundary formation over time. What was the point of this? So me making this right now, what was the point of that? Number 12, parent time. You as an organism, there's a lot of paths and a lot of ways to say this. You are basically organizing your mechanism of your hierarchy of needs. Obviously, the lower level foundational hierarchy is the things that keep you alive, priorities, like, oxygen. You need that thing on a moment by moment basis, more so than food. So the game mechanics inherently different, and therefore the strategy prioritized and valued differently. See, there's no such thing as a double standard, and the two things being measured are not the same. When they're two different things, it's literally two different standards. What are we catching right now? Where is this going? So I know where this is going. So organizing myself, organizing it. What are we organizing? Well, right now I'm focusing on game mechanics. Why? Because our day-to-day lives themselves are strategically maximized by our actual being. Our physical anatomy literally grows to become better at whatever it is we're doing. And what we're doing has this thing in our mind of like knowing where we're going, but that's a fucking mirage. It's not real. We think it's real, but it's not. It's just like what I was talking about before. It's a blind spot. It's a void in our consciousness that we fill in the gaps for. The spinal burn hand thing. We think that we pulled our hand off the stove, but we didn't. Wow, it took fucking 30 minutes for me to trace back to that thought. Holy shit. Backtrack. So burning your hand, you think you did it. Which you was the you that did it? The you that did it was actually your body. Your body is itself a rudimentary mind, fundamentally. And it functions so well that it's decentralized its cellular makeup to be synchronous. Like the cells in my right hand are not the same cells as the cells in my left hand. There's a whole set of organisms on this side and a whole set of different organisms on this side, but they believe they're one because I am a central point. But I as a central point am just a tunnel where everything else is filtering through. And I to myself am consistent and whole. I am technically the only straight line in the universe, but that's only because I am my own blind spot. Every single observer as a point of consciousness is intrinsically limited by itself. It is literally moving at its own terminal velocity at all times, whether at peak optimal operation or fatigued. Just the words themselves are making me want to come down and like take a nap, so I don't even want to go down that train of thinking. so I'm gonna block off that psychological trapdoor and move back up to high functioning. Breathe oxygen to the brain. The brain's an organ and it overheats. Your thinking is causing a metabolic function. Yes, so you are naturally going to get depleted. So take breaks. I just did a set. I'm gonna take a minute, listen to music. Was there a point to this? Is there ever a point to anything? I think we just exist, so be it. Charging, pause, battery temperature too high. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Bastard guy. I'm gonna make the point. There was a point? Was there a point? There was no point. This was the point. So the point was basically that I have to do this, and what this is again, me procrastinating. This is procrastinating. You just procrastinated. I just procrastinated on camera, okay? That was the whole point that I was not supposed to do. That was not the point. The point was not to procrastinate, so I ended up doing that anyway. Why? Because it's too granular. You're talking about going to organize the content at a video by video layer when you don't even know what this is yet. From this standpoint, I do, but it's not built into me to the point where I can actually keep doing this and do that simultaneously. You can't go in two separate directions at the same time. So at this point, like, you need to ingrain this direction. Okay, so then run it as you go. Okay, I am, which is what? Number 12, running in place. That's it. The point for the hand thing was that your continuity of frame of mind is a fucking illusion. So it's an illusion. Your sense of reality is a persistent force function to fill the void that is established from the hardware that is your brain. Because your brain doesn't need to be thinking and overanalyzing about everything all the time. It just needs to be able to do that some of the time. But those faculties are not offline. Those faculties are in a limbo. They are present, but yet not active. And they can be activated the same way that that fucking program in the spine tells your hand to remove it when you think you did it, but in actuality it was your body. You are multiple levels of mind that are all at different frame rates. I'm just gonna seriously leave that there because this is already running way too fucking long and apparently way too fucking hot. So I'll see you in the dark matter. Best right guy. Which order does this turn off now? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go in reverse order here. This one's last.